Hello, welcome to Cracking the Cryptic, and the madness is upon me. I've decided to tackle Kenneth's dad's puzzle, which he says is the hardest he's constructed, he believes. But look at the visual on this. It's absolutely fabulous. It's obviously called nuts and bolts, and these kind of screw heads are clearly waiting to be tightened by a spanner or wrench. Depending what side of the Atlantic you live on, I guess. But we will try and loosen them and solve this puzzle somehow. As I say, it's called nuts and bolts. Kenneth's dad is brilliant sometimes at creating these visual images. And if it's the hardest one he's created, it's going to be very hard because the others haven't been easy in my experience. I'm looking forward to giving it a go though. Do try it yourself if you want on the first link under the video. The other links are to things such as Patreon, where we release a puzzle hunt on the 1st of every month, and then we have a prize draw on the 20th, so do check that out. There's also loads of other content on Patreon, by the way. There's our merchandise, Sven SUDOKU PAD, and all of our apps, which include Line Sudoku. Here we have equal sum lines, Killer Sudoku, here we have killer cages, and even Domino Sudoku, and here we have one Kropki dot. We will go through the rules in just a second, but those links are all available under the video, and we urge you to check them out and to subscribe to the channel and to like the videos and to leave comments praising the setters when you think the puzzle is especially good, as it is almost every day on this channel. I mean, the quality of the puzzles we've been solving lately is incredible, and let's hope this one lives up to that billing. I suspect it will. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. We'll be putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box, if we can. Box borders divide each blue line into segments with the same sum. So, this blue line, those two cells in box 3 equal those two cells in box 6. And for the outside line here, the octagon, I suppose, those 5 cells summed together equal the total of those 3. But for the diamond, that one cell equals the sum of those 3. Okay? Digits in a cage sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage, so those 3 digits add up to 8. And finally, in the 2 cells joined or separated by the black dot, one digit is double the other. Give it a try. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. Well, the 2 8 cages made up of 3 different digits has to have a 1 in. So we can do that. And that gets us very little distance ahead in this puzzle, but a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Right, I think all of these diamonds have a digit that is 6, 7, 8 or 9, because the 3 digits in the same box all have to be different. They must be at least 1 plus 2 plus 3, so we get to at least 6 in the middle digit, in the digit in the other box. Ah, and look, yeah, you can do a bit of kind of reduction of a simultaneous equation here. So we know that purple equals green from the octagon shape, but we also know that yellow equals red on the diamond shape. So if we deduct yellow out of purple and red out of green, then whatever's left must equal each other. So those 2 purples add up to the same as those 2 greens. That doesn't necessarily mean the 2 purples are the same digits as the greens, although they could be. But they certainly add to the same, and that must work with this nut and bolt combo and this one and this one. Which is interesting. Certainly, I mean, I don't know that it does anything for us, but it's worth bearing in mind. But I don't know what to do next. Okay, there's a secret that has sometimes been shared by us with you. And that is that every row, column, box in a Sudoku adds up to the same number. It's an incredible truth. And we know what that number is every time. It's always 45. That's because the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. So column 1 adds up to 45. If we subtract the 8 in those cells, these cells, let's yellow them, add up to 37. Yes. Yes, this is great. Okay, sorry, I'm just carrying this thought forward. Now, these cells, let's make them green. Same deal in column 4. We've got 45 for the total, 9 in the bottom 3 cells. Those add up to 36. But look at the 2 octagons. If green adds up to 36, so does purple, because that green segment adds up to that purple segment, that green segment adds up to that purple segment. And now we know that yellow and purple add up to 36 plus 37 equals 73. We obviously know that the total for box 1 is 45 and the total for box 4 is 45. So the 2 boxes together add up to 90. You subtract the 73 in yellow and purple from 90 and you suddenly know that this is an 8-9 pair, because the deduction, the subtrahend was 17. And that has to be made, since they're in the same column, of a 9 and an 8, which is lovely. I was going to say that must apply here, but hang on, we've got the 8s and 9s are in different positions, so maybe it doesn't. Let me just check. That orange segment adds up to 36. This green one is 37. Green must be the same as this blue area. So blue and orange is 37 and 36. It is the same again. That's 73. These 2 cells have to be 8 and 9 to get the total for the 2 boxes up to 90. So that's lovely. That's a lovely start. And it's definitely deliberate. Oh, and look, 8 and 9 must go in these cells up here, because they can't get into the 9 cage or they'd bust it very quickly. That works here as well, even better in fact. 8 and 9 must be in those cells. I was going to remove the colour because I think it did the job that we were looking for it to do. Now there can't be an 8 on the black dot, which is not a big advance, but is nonetheless true and maybe worth noting. But now what? Well, one of these is an 8. Is it the same 8 combination? 8 has 2 3-cell combinations. One of them is 1 2 5 and the other is 1 3 4. Yes, okay, so yeah, okay, this is interesting. So in green and orange here, I don't know what they add. I mean, I know what they add up to in total. I don't know what they individually add up to. That's not actually so much what I'm interested in now. What I'm interested in is where the 3 digits in yellow appear in columns 2 and 3. And the answer is that they appear once in green. They're obviously not in box 7 again, because they're over here in box 7. They're obviously not in these cells, and none of them are 8 or 9, so they're not in those cells. And there are 2 of them in each column, so one set of this yellow group is in this area, and another set is in that area. And, well, let's just say it's 1 3 4. These include 1 3 4. And these include 1 3 4. I don't know what it means actually. Sorry. I do think it means something. Oh, there's a 6 7 8 9 quad in the middle row. Oh, so that's a 6 7 pair. Ah, so 1 and 2 are on this triangle bit, because 6 is made up of 1 2 3 and 7 of 1 2 4. Also on that triangle bit. And in fact the digits are selected from 1 2 3 4 on those. Now does that tie into this yellow stuff? 1 obviously therefore is on this triangle. I don't think it has to be on this triangle because this could be 2, 3, 4. Although then there's the interesting point that 2 would definitely repeat in these columns and therefore have to go into... Yeah, this is kind of turned around. Previously I was thinking that whatever goes in this 8 cage, the yellow 8 cage, must go twice into green and orange. Now I'm finding things that must be twice in green and orange, potentially, and realizing that they have to go into the 8 cage. That's kind of reversing the logic, but I don't know, it's interesting to think about. I'll tell you what, there have to be 2 low digits on this triangle because any number from 6, 7, 8 or 9 needs at least 2 low digits. And I mean the digits from 1, 2 and 3 when I say that. So if those 2 low digits overlap with two of the low digits in this threesome, then both of those super low digits will go into this 8 cage. Okay, so all 3 can't go in there. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm wondering, am I coming up with a reason that 2 has to be up here? I don't think I am, actually. No, this could be 1, 2, 5, in which case 2 can appear there. Ah, okay, I don't know quite where we're going. Let me ponder this a bit harder. Oh, here's another thought. Whatever digit this is out of 6 or 7 doesn't go into the 8 cage. So let's call that red. That has to go in one of these cells. And then it has to be in one of these cells. And that's quite interesting, maybe, maybe not. No, I don't know why. What is happening here? I feel like I'm gradually grappling with the nuts and bolts of this puzzle. Let's use that 6, 7, 8, 9 quad in the middle row and fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there can't be a 1 in that cell because there is a 1 somewhere here. Okay, the 6, 7 pair are yielding definitely a 1, 2, 3 and a 1, 2, 4. I feel like a band leader. 1, 2, 3 and a 1, 2, 4. What does that do? Does it do anything? I don't think so. Okay, what happens if that is 6 or 7? Right, I know this is interesting. I was sort of beginning to pursue this a moment ago, but I didn't pursue it. If that is 6 or 7, then 1 and 2 sit in that group, just as we know, because that is 6 or 7, that they sit in that group. So 1 and 2 will both... no, hang on. Well, 1 and 2 would be repeated in those sets of highlighted cells in columns 2 and 3. So that would use up the 1s and 2s for those columns. And the 1 and 2 in box 7 would both be in this cage. So this cage would contain 1, 2 and 5. Yes, and that doesn't work, because if that was 6 or 7, there's no 5 there or there, and there's no 5 there or there. So if there's a 5 in this cage, but no 5 in any of these cells, where can 5 go in column 3? And the answer is nowhere. Brilliant. Right. This is not 6 or 7. The same... Well, let me just check, because 8 and 9 are reversed. So is that right here? Yes. No, it's not necessarily right, because 5 doesn't end up in this cage. Okay, if that's a 1, 2... Oh, it works the same with 6 as the digit, and that's so weird. Right, if that was 8 or 9... Does it? Now I'm totally thrown. Hang on. Okay, what I'm trying to argue against is this being 6 or 7, which would definitely put 1 and 2 in both of those sets. And therefore, yes, that would put 1 and 2 in this cage, in this 9 cage. And therefore it would have to put 6 in it as well. And where would 6 go in column 7 if these were 6, 7 pairs? It couldn't go on any of those cells, and there's nowhere for it. So that doesn't work. So this is not 6 or 7. This is 8 or 9. I'm now going to uncolour the whole grid again, because I think it's worth colouring 8s and 9s against each other. Yes, it is. Maybe it is. Well, I mean, I don't know. I get that those are a blue and orange pair. But actually, and they see a certain, oh no, okay, well, I was going to say they see these cells and these cells, but frankly, we knew that 8 and 9 weren't in those cells already. Like, what I mean is those cells all see that blue and that orange, so they can't contain blue or orange. They weren't trying very hard to contain blue or orange. However, what I now see is that both blue and orange see this cell, which is not 8 or 9, but these 3 cells had to contain 8 and 9, so we know exactly where they are. That happens down here in row 8 as well. We get a little pair of 8, 9 there. We can't colour these new 8, 9s, I don't think. Not against the blue and oranges that we've found so far. Now, one of these is a 6 and is producing a 1, 2, 3 diamond. The other is a 7 and is producing 1, 2, 4. So these highlighted digits are 2 1s, 2 2s, and 1 3 and 1 4. And is that helpful? No, sir. No, sir, it isn't. I don't know what is. Right. Need to think of something else, annoyingly now. Ah. Well, I don't know. No, now we know of old that these cells add up to 36. And that means that these cells add up to 36 based on the octagon shapes. Does that lead to a min-max thing in column 2? If these digits were 1, 2, 3, 4, then these ones would add up to 26. And that, because 1, 2, 3, 4 is the minimum for column 3 in those cells, therefore it's the maximum for column 2 in these cells. Yeah, that's true. 26 is the maximum. Therefore, the minimum for these cells is 19. For these 3 is 19. And if I subtract the 17, that means the minimum digit there was 2, which I already knew. And that's not actually very helpful botheration. Okay, the black dot, don't think so. Can't see how it's helping. These blue lines I haven't really considered, but they seem to have an awful lot of open flexibility at the moment that isn't really helping me. Wow, what do I do next? 8, 9 here in blue. No, sorry, I'm quite stuck now. Well, 2 is the minimum for this cell. But the maximum, what happens at the other end? The maximum is 7. And then these would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So obviously the minimum total for these is 21 because there's 6 different digits. That's true. But this area, again, let's go back to making it all yellow. We know it adds up to 36 because it's the same as the sum of this area. So if those were 21, because you put 7 there, then these cells have to add up to 15. That's very difficult actually, because yeah, well, you can't get there because these two, the most they could be is a 2-4 pair. If that was a 7 and that was a 1, that would provide the maximum separation. That would be a 2-4 pair, and these would have to add up to 9. Okay, so I'm positing the case where we had a 7 here. These make 21, and these make 15, and that just can't happen, because you can't put 2, 4 there and 9 there, because that will bust. I think that may be the extreme case, so maybe we're just removing 7 from this cell. But what I've now thought is if you make that a 7 and that a 1, well then this is a 6 and this is at most a 2. And suddenly the difference there means that there's a 1 in one of these cells. These are 1 and 3. And I think we're going to think about the whole of yellow and purple combined now in terms of what they can add up to as a group. I think that's where this is leading me. And I'm not sure if that's true, but just try. Okay, yellow and purple, we know exactly what they add up to as a pair because we know that this group of cells adds up to 37 and is the same as purple. This group of cells adds up to 36 and is the same as yellow. So yellow and purple add up to 73 in total. These cells are minimum 1, 2, 3, 4 in both cases. So we're looking for a 73 total. And this being between 2 and 7, these cells in both cases add up to somewhere between 19 and 26. Well, they don't add up to 19 or 20 because they must add up to at least 21. And I think that is why some of the more outlandish digits have been removed from that cell and that cell. So oh no, hang on. Because I know exactly. Yes, look, orange and blue are different. I've got a deduction to make out of yellow and purple. Because, obviously, those two are different from each other. So green, red, blue and orange are a set of 6, 7, 8, 9 that add up to 30. And I can deduct that set out of the yellow-purple total by deducting the equivalents through the diamonds, which I haven't considered for a while. So we get rid of blue 8, 9 there, green 6, 7 here, red 6, 7 here, oops, and orange 8, 9 here. And that means the remaining purple and yellow cells add up to 73 minus 30 equals 43. Well done. They add up to 43, yellow and purple. And you can't use 8 or 9 in getting to that total. So the maximum in either column is 7, 6, 5, 4, which adds up to 22. If we used 7, 6, 5, 4 for yellow and 7, 6, 5, 4 for purple, that would add up to 44, but they add up to 43. That's 1 degree of freedom, but we also know that the only way to remove that degree of freedom is to change a 4 to a 3 in one of the two columns. And therefore, in one case, yellow is 7654. And in the other case, it's 7653. And in both cases, it uses 567. And now this digit can't be 898765 or 1, same for this one. They're definitely selected from 2, 3 or 4. And that has narrowed them down a lot. And I'm hoping it does something else. Yes, here is something it does up here. 2, 3 or 4 there means that this cage cannot be a 2, 3, 4 cage. So there's a 1 in it. And now you may not say that's absolutely thrilling, but it does take 1 out of that cell, and it means there's a 1 in one of these cells. So the orange 89 has a 1 on it. This diamond has a 1 on it. And whichever of these is a 9 is not having a 2, 3, 4 sum. So in one case of yellow and purple, these equivalent cells will consist of 987654, and these other ones will be a 1, 2, 3 set, and in the other case these other ones will be a 1, 2, 4 set. So these digits are now selected from 1, 2, 3, 4, and they definitely include 1 and 2 in those cells in column 2 and 1 and 2 in those cells in column 8. And what does that do? Okay, that... I don't know. I feel like it does something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, these cells in each column must use 1 and 2. And in one column they use 3, and in the other column they use 4. Right, so this black dot, which has not been able to be 8, 4 for a long time, now cannot be a 1, 2 pair. This could be a 3, 6 pair. How could it be 2, 4? Okay, if this was 2, 4, since that cell... This can't be a 2, so that would be the 2. This would be the 4. It's either 2, 4 or 3, 6 now, this black dot. That's all it can be. We've ruled out 8, 4, and we've ruled out 1, 2. So it's either 2, 4 or 3, 6. If it's 3, 6, we know which way round it goes. If it's 2, 4, we know which way round it goes, because that can't be a 2. So this is now 2 or 3, and this is 4 or 6. This feels like a surprising finding. And maybe it isn't, but it's surprised me. Now one of them will work, and one of them won't, but it may not be at this point in the puzzle that we can work out which one will and which one won't. Okay, if that's a 2, 4, then 4's obviously being used. Yes, this will decide... Whichever, I don't know which way round it is, but it will decide which of yellow and purple is using 3 and which one's using 4. Oh, it'll decide it the same way, either way, because this white cell, if this is 3, 6, then 3 is not being used by yellow. If this is 2, 4, then 4 is being used by yellow. What a gorgeous step. So yellow is always using 4, 5, 6, 7, is not using 3. Yellow is using 4, 5, 6, 7. And on this yellow side, these other cells are a 1, 2, 3 set. And look, I've got a 2, 3 pair there. That is a 1. There is my first digit in the grid within the half hour. This puzzle's crazy, crazy, but it's crazy good. And now I know where 1 goes in column 8 as I don't know what I'm doing with these pencil marks. I know where 1 goes in column... I might have got this pencil mark wrong, but no, it looks okay. I know where 1 goes in this column now. It goes there. And therefore these cannot be 1s. Right. Yes, and I know that yellow is 4, 5, 6, 7. And remember, I know purple and yellow add up to, what was it, 43. Purple is 3, 5, 6, 7 now. And there's no 3 in those 2 cells. They are a 2, 4 pair. And these are a 2, 3 pair. And I didn't even need to know how the black dot resolved to get this. That's the oddest part of this process, frankly. Now, okay, this is getting interesting because this is 8 or 9. And we've got a 2 or 3 there. And we've definitely got a 1 up here. So this is... I was going to rule out... Oh no, hang on. Maybe we can use the fact that there's a 3 being used in purple. Does there have to be a 3 used in these cells? Okay, this whole group added up to 37 because it matches the equivalent cells in column 6. And the 3, 5, 6, 7 part of it... Oh yeah, okay, the 3, 5, 6, 7 part of it adds up to 21. So the diamond bit, 37 minus 21 means the diamond bits add up to 16, and they represent the total of these two, and that must be a 7-9 pair now. How has that happened? I don't know, but it's magic, but it has happened. And I'm just going to check that that works over here as well. Otherwise, I might have got something wrong. Let's just figure this out. Over here, we know that that group adds up to 38. No, 36. 45 minus, I hope I haven't used 38 in my sums. 36. So this group adds up to 36. And they now include a 4, 5, 6, 7, which add up to 22 in the yellow cells. And therefore the other cells add up to 14, and they're on the diamonds, and therefore they're the equivalent of these two, which add up to 14. It does work. Okay, cool. So that's 8 and 6. Blue has become 8. Orange has become 9. Got loads of digits in the grid now. I mean, just tons of them. 10 digits. Hurrah! That's not a 1 at all. Okay, those colours have probably done their job now as well. All of those colours, I think, have done their job. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get rid of the colours because now I'm seeing some Sudoku. Or, no, some line calculations. Look, we've got 6 there, so this is now a 2, 3 pair. We've got 8 there. Oh, but I don't know whether that's a 2 or a 3, do I? This is either 1, 4 or 1, 5. So 8, 9 in the box. Oh no, 9's already there. 8 in the box is in one of those positions. I could have done that ages ago, I think. 9 in the box is in one of those. That's not actually very helpful. I thought we were going to get something there. This is a 1, 2, 4 set. Let's come across the other side, see if we get any more. That's a 1, 2, 4 set. Oh, so this isn't 2 or 4, of course. What did that do over here? This isn't 2 or 3. Okay, why can't I resolve those middle row numbers? I don't think I can. But whatever, this cage is going to take a 4 or a 5. And that cell is going to hold the other one. No, much better. This cage can't be 1, 3, 5. Now we've reduced that. And it's got a 1 in it, so it's not 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 6, which I thought we might be ruling out earlier on. But in fact, we've ruled it right in. That becomes a 4. That becomes a 2. That doesn't solve the middle row either. Right, 1, 2, 6. So 6 appears in both of these areas. This is, oh no. Yes, 6 appears in one of those 2 cells because obviously this is a 1, 2, 4 set. So it must be in one of those 2 cells. And therefore it doesn't appear in these two, and we know it doesn't appear in those, so it is on this diamond, which is a 6-2 pair, and that, I could have made that a 1-4 pair before. I've done it now. 286, 194, this is 357. That figures in this cage. I feel like I knew the whole total. Like once I got that, I thought I was going to know what this was by a big mathsy thing. Has that not happened, or have I just missed how I know that? Honestly, I don't know. You can probably work out whether I should know what this digit is. I feel I should at this point, but my brain is starting to gradually fry, which is, you know, fine for people who like eating fried brain, but not so good for me. 1492. I think I need to do some Sudoku. Oh no, I've got this blue line starting to fill in. Maybe I need to do that. Okay, by Sudoku, this digit is 3, 4, 5, 7 or 8. So this pair adds up to somewhere between 7 and 15. That's quite a wide range. This pair, though, adds up to somewhere between 9 and 15, and that's a very overlapping range, and I'm disappointed. The 3, 4, 5 triple. Have I missed something about how that operates? Oh, I've got to do the blinking maths. Surely the maths is done. No, I tell you what might be the way of doing this. That 8 is going to use a 2 or a 3 there, and depending on what that is, we get 1, 4 or 5 here. Now, whatever digit that is, let's colour it purple. That is one of those two and is going in this cage. So obviously that is the other identity of 2 or 3 down here. And I mean, I could have just done that from column 2. So whatever digit is in these cells is also in this cage, because it's a 1, 2. This is the same group of cells as appears here. So whatever digit is in these, let's make it grey out of, that's not a 1, is also in these cells. And therefore is also in one of these two. There's a 4 or a 5 grey in one of those. This can't be 4 and 5 grey. Oh, what are these? They include 6 and 7, very obviously. And then the other 4 or 5 digit. I'm going to have to go back and do the whole maths thing on the total. I feel like it's weird that I don't know what this digit is. Of course, the major alternative solution is I'm just getting completely hung up on an irrelevance, and I might not even be meant to know what it is at this point. I don't know. Okay, I've seen something else. That 6 is not appearing in this 9 cage. So this is either 135 or 124. The point about which is there's a 1 in it. So then there's a 1 in one of these cells. And that might... Oh, no, I've just remembered a thing that I did really early on. I worked out that blue is at the equivalent sum of yellow over here. So, okay, let's get rid of that grey stuff. And indeed, why not the purple as well? I've lost interest in that. Let's do blue and yellow. If blue there is equal to the sum of yellow here, does that help? Or purple here being equal to the sum of green here. See, in one case, we've got to put a 9 in this column somewhere. And a 7. Oh, we know that 7 is in one of those 2 yellow cells. Yeah, that's interesting. What do I know about 8 in these 3 columns as well? Oh no, 6 is it? Yeah, 6 is in one of those cells and therefore in one of these 2. Right, so these add up to 15 plus something. No, these 2 add up to 6 plus something, which is the same as these 2, which are both odd. So the other digit here is even. It could be 6, 2, 6, 4, and it couldn't be 6, 8. Because that would add up to 14, and those 2 can't add up to 14. So this is either 6, 2 or 6, 4, and there's definitely a 3 in this pair. It's either 3, 5 or 3, 7. So there's no 3 in these cells, but there is a 6. These now add up to either 11 or 13. So these 2 add up to 11 or 13. They need an odd digit, which is 5 or 3. Oh, they definitely need an 8. That's just facts now. So it's 8, 3 or 8, 5, adding up to 11 or 13. Okay, I'm gradually whittling this away. Now, we said 6 had to be in there. This is either 1, 3, 5. This is 1, 3, 5 now. There's no 6 in it. It can't be 2, 3, 4, partly because we've put a 1 in it and partly because that would break these cells. This is 1, 3, 5. That's much the most straightforward thing that I just didn't do. Now this is either, I bet it's either, yeah, it can't be 7, 9 because it equals the same as those 2. So it's either 7, 2 or 7, 4. And this is either 9, 2 or 9, 4. So we're adding up to 11 or 13 there, which means over here something. I think I'm going to be using these blue squares in a moment somehow, but I don't know how. So 9 is definitely in one of those cells and 8's in one of these. Maybe it's this cell suddenly. One of those is 3 or 5. 3, 5, 8, 7, 9, 2. It all depends on whether this is 1, 2. I mean, this works every which way, but I've worked out this is 1, 3, 5. So 7 and 8 are both down here somewhere, along with either 2 or 4 in this pair, in this trio. That can't be 1. Just need to be patient. Let's have a little drink and just try and keep going. Persevering. That is always the way when times are tough, when things get hard. Swallow hard and keep going. 1, 4, 9, 2 and 6 has been used there. 3 and 8 must be in this group of cells. So 8's in one of those 2. 3 is used somewhere here. And these are selected from 4, 5, 7, 9 and definitely include 9, although not in that cell. And after that I don't know. Do I? Yeah, they definitely include 4 as well. Marking that. I thought it was all going to collapse once I got the identity of this cage done. Why didn't it do that? It just didn't. 1, 3, 5. Maybe it's about this row where I've got 2 or maybe it's about this row. Maybe it's about the black dot again. Why? Maybe the black dot should have totally disambiguated at the start when we started thinking about it. That would be embarrassing and annoying in some ways. Right, okay, let's just go back to this. These add up to the symmetry of the single choice of all the coloured cells here and the equivalent cells in columns 6 and 8 is frustrating, because it suggests to me that they're not the next point at which we get progress, in a way. And that is frustrating. But we know that yellow adds up to blue. I mean, I could bifurcate, couldn't I? Just on one of the values of 8 in well, either the value of 8 in that cage, or on that diamond, or in that cage, or in this cage, or somewhere, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to do that, but it will be very frustrating if I now, having got this far, spend another half hour over the next logical move. And that could easily happen. Okay, whichever one of 2 or 4 is not used in these cells is used in this cage, along with 3 or 5. Then the other of 3 or 5 appears in this trio, along with 9, which I haven't pencil marked in there. They're from 3, 5, 6, 9. These ones are from 2, 4, 7, 8. I am beginning to wonder about row 5, column 5, and whether it's just so blatantly obvious. Ah. No, I was going to say 5 can't be here. But it can. If that's 5, 6, this is 3, 8. Yeah, are any of these demanding repeat? I think none of them. Oh, this could be a 4, 7 pair and a 4, 7 pair. I don't know. I don't know if I'm meant to know whether that matters. If a repeat is possible, desirable, or verboten. Oh, so it's got to be these little blue squares. Man, have I really got to think about the maths of those and come up with something? This one I barely put in. I mean, I haven't pencil marked these cells fully. It just feels like a lot of hassle to try and achieve that. Well, I mean, I suppose I can see from the pencil markings in this box, this is not 9, 8, 6 or 7. So it's 1, 2, 3 or 5. In this box, this is not 1, 3, 5, 6 or 9. So it's 2, 4, 7 or 8. This is not going to give me a pairing that allows me to understand what's going on. And this one, even with 8 or 9 there, okay, the minimum total is 9. But, I mean, the minimum for these is 8. It's not exactly exciting. You couldn't make that 5, 3 because of that cell. So actually, the minimum total is 9. 8, 1, 5, 4. That would, oh no, it could even be 8, 1, 6, 3. That's too many alternatives. That's not worth case testing, I don't think. Okay, let's go back to something I thought about ages ago and didn't really use. 4 or 5's in this cage and also in that cell. So they're not going to appear again in the column after those two things. The last one of 2 or 3 are going to appear in these cells, along with 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is that telling me? I don't know. Oh. Okay, here's a new question for you all. Where does 6 go in row 8? Look at all those cells and tell me where 6 goes. It doesn't go there because it's in one of those two. It doesn't go here or here because it's in one of those two. It's an X-wing on 6s. Therefore, we also know it doesn't go there in the 8 cage, and it doesn't go there, which is pencil marked 2 or 3. So we get 6 here. Can we do the same sort of thing up here? I doubt it. 7 in this row, maybe. No, although we know 7's in one of those cells. So we do know 7 can't be in any of those cells, but I don't think I can rule it out of there. Ah, okay. If 7 was in one of these, sorry, 7 is in one of those cells. If 7 was in one of these, it would be there. This pair would have to be a 7-4 pair to make that, and that would make this a 4-7 pair. So then we would have duplication between colours, blue and yellow. That would have to be a 7. I don't think it's a problem. So, okay, let's go back to this row where I got the 6, and I feel like something brief was done. These are from 4, 5, 7 in the column. Again, the other one of 4, 5 that's not in this cage is amongst them. 6, 9, 8, 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7. Oh, I was going to say, where does 7 go in the row? Because that's not in this box either. But it does have 2 locations. Okay, so this is odd. How about that? If this was an odd 9, then we'd be adding up to 10, 12, or 14, and these would have to be the same parity. I suppose they could be 4, 8. They could be 3, 7, or 5, 7. I was just thinking, if that was odd, this is almost certainly even, isn't it? And that, well, almost certainly is nonsense. Maybe a 75% chance, because it looks likely to be 2, 4, or 8. Oh, now this was a 6 X-Wing that took me ages to notice. Maybe I should take a lesson from that. Or from this. Ah, yeah, okay, let's have a look here. This is either a 1-5 pair or a 1-4 pair. Yeah, that's vital, isn't it? This can't be a 7-2 pair, because this would have to then be a 4-5 pair to match it. But one of those 4 or 5s must go in there. That'll do. This, oh, sorry that's taken so long. This is a 7-4 pair. If you were shouting that at the screen, well done. This pair adds up to 11. Now, I don't know what that is. It can still be 5, 6, or 4, 7. I suppose I know that the top digit is odd, because that one's definitely even. But 4 or 5 is definitely used in one of those cells, and that hasn't revealed which of these is 4 or 5 to me. Which of 4 or 5 is used here, I mean. But we get 4, 7 there. Now we've got a 2, 9 pair here, and again we've got another pair adding up to 11. Surely this 2, 9 will do something for me. Maybe it won't. Well, I mean, it's taken 4 out of that cell, which we were just considering on this blue line. Come on, come on. And the 2, 9 pair here. 2, 9, 6, 7. Have I created some other X-Wing looking across? Yes, no, I haven't created a 7 X-Wing, have I? If that was, okay, so this could go 7, 2, 4. And that'll be a 3. 3, 6, 5, 9, 8, 1. I don't know. Oh, I thought that was going to finish the blinking puzzle. And instead the puzzle keeps blinking. Blinks straight back at me. Oh, hang on. Yes, it does. Look, yellow contains a 4. So this cage is now 1, 2, 5. This is going to finish the puzzle, he says, with wild overconfidence. This has become a 3, 8 pair. There's no 2 here. This is a 6, 4 pair. These have to add up to 10. That's a 3, 7 pair. There's no 7 here. 5 and 6 add up to the same as 3 and 8. That's all good. 5, 6 pair there makes this a 3. That's an actual digit in the grid. And this is now not 3 or 4 or 5. Oh, now the blue line. Now, come on, blue line. Do your funky groove thing at this point. This is 7 or 8. Let's get rid of these corner marks. Let's actually look at this set, which don't include a 7 now. They're 4, 5, 9. Now, come on, the blue line, the blue line, the blue line. 12 to 14 is the total of that pair. Yes, that's got to involve the 6, because 2 and 1 don't get us to 12 or 14. It's got to be 8, 6. Yes, this blue line was the way. And that's 8, 6 as well now. That's weird. It's just a deadly pattern if it wasn't for the blue line. No, if it wasn't for the cage. I don't know. It's not really a deadly pattern. Shut up. Right, that's a 7. That's a 5. This is going to do it. I was right. I was right. I'm delighted. That has become a 4. Ooh, it became a 2-4 pair up there. That's now, well, that's now a 7. That's a 4. They have to add up to 11, the blues, so that's a 7. Now I can write in 5 and 6 there. This has become a 3, that digit I've been after for so long. That is going to fix the 1 something something cage, which is now 1, 2, 5. The middle cell of which is the 2, I think, because of the 1 and 5 in the row. That's a 4. We get a 7 placed there. Those don't have a 4 in. Let's tidy up the pencil marks, because that will help me finish under an hour. I am going to finish under an hour now. 5, 1, 6, 2, 8, 3. That's become a 4. And I can put in 9 and 7. Then I can put in 9 and 2. Then I can put in 3 and 2. This 3 and 8, they're done. That's a 5 in the middle of the grid. And then we've got a 1, 4 pair. Oh, that's really weird. I'm left with a 1, 4 deadly pattern that's going to be resolved by this blue line, probably. 1 and 4 there. This is not a 4. We've got a 2, 8 pair going on down here. We've got no 5 in those cells. Let's get rid of all the corner marks, which aren't helping anymore. And up here, this is a 3, 6, 9 triple, which I can write in the 9 from straight away only. Oh, that 1, 2 triple's been solved. That solves 2 in this cage, 2, 5, 1. We are loosening these nuts and bolts in a very, very gradual manner now. But it's been a journey, hasn't it? I mean, fabulous puzzle. Absolutely mind-boggling how Kenneth's dad has come up with this. 8, 6, 3. Okay, those 1, 4 pairs in the middle rows, they're freaking me out. It's this blue line, isn't it? So this can't be 8 because the maximum here is 6. And now these two have to be the same. So we've got another samesies blue line. I'm finally going to get rid of the colouring. And I accidentally unwound my 2 1s there. Samesies. Right. That is a phenomenal puzzle. Really, really something different and something rich and strange, as Shakespeare would have said in The Tempest. It really is clever. Oh, I should stop typing wrong digits and just put in the right ones for the fun of finishing. Here we go. What a great puzzle. Oh, that's marvellous. Well done, Kenneth's dad. So enjoyable, so detailed, so clever, and such a privilege to get to solve that live in front of you, and you watch my actual amazement as it unfolds, which was serious in this case. I hope to be back with you again tomorrow doing another puzzle. Please watch again then. We'll see you then. Bye for now.